Happy Wednesday. It's May 7th, 2025, and we are here with our guest tipper of the month. His name is Noah Westreich. Noah, you have a tip for us today that when you told me what it was, I said, I love you. So make the crowd love you. What is today's tip?
We're meant to be, Ariel. Today's tip is to learn what's called the spelling alphabet, or the NATO alphabet. Basically, every letter corresponds to a word so that there's no confusion when pilots are communicating air traffic control to each other. So you learn that alphabet, and then the tip is that when you're stuck in traffic, or when you're walking down the street, or when you just need to get your mind off of something, you just look to a license plate on a car near you and you read out that license plate in the spelling alphabet. So imagine that there was a license plate that was 9PBT364. You would read that as Niner Papa Bravo Tango 364. And this is a great tip because you can really use it to distract yourself, put your mind off of anything that's stressing you out, and just go towards reading these numbers and letters quietly to yourself. Probably don't read them out loud.
Oscar Kilo.
Oscar Kilo.
Good
Oscar
job.
Kilo.
Good job.
Very good.
Oscar Kilo. I will also say this is a helpful tip because a lot of people, when they're spelling their names on the phone, make up their own NATO alphabet.
Can I complain? Like, sometimes people are like, A as in apple, B as in boy, and that's just not it.
That's not right. I say N as in Nissenblatt, I as in Issenblatt, S as in...
Yeah, and the whole point is that
kidding.
this alphabet is that none of the words have words that are similar to them.
They're iconically words that go with that letter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This is a great way to kick off May. Thank you for starting May with us, Noah Westreich, and welcome to the podcast. And Tippendales will be back tomorrow with Ariel and I, and next Wednesday with Noah Westreich. Also tune in Saturday for his interview. It's Wednesday, it's May 14th, and we are back with our guest tipper of the month, Noah Westreich. Noah, hello, welcome back, and what's the tip for the day?
So our tip for today has to do with being mindful when you drink your coffee, although really it could be being mindful over anything that you drink in the morning. As a rabbi, I like to say blessings throughout the day to sort of ground myself and to schedule gratitude into my life and into my day. And the blessing I say after drinking my first sip of coffee is not at all traditional or customary. It's something that I've repurposed from our prayer book. As Reformed Jews, we cut out the blessing for blessing God for resurrecting the dead, just because it's not part of our worldview or our sensibilities. We basically say, resurrection of the dead, we don't believe in that. We don't need to pray about that. But I didn't want to leave the blessing on the cutting room floor. I thought it could be repurposed. And so I've repurposed the resurrection blessing to go immediately after my first sip of coffee. So in the morning, I'll drink my first sip of coffee. And I'll say, Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh metim. Blessed are you, God, who resurrects the dead.
That's good.
That is good.
That's really good. Noah, you are actually the person who introduced me to coffee, so that means a lot to me to know now how you take it every morning.
Yes, that's how I take it.
What does that mean?
He's the first person in our first job after college who convinced me that I should drink coffee.
Oh.
And he was... it was mostly because it allowed us to go and take a break. And we were very into fancy coffee, so we would be kind of snotty about the coffee that we'd buy and how we'd make it and everything.
Yeah.
Still are.
I was that job and every job since, I've sort of been the coffee guy in the office, and starting with that job. And our job was to travel around to different towns and cities across the United States South. And we would always seek out the best and the fanciest coffee everywhere we went. And we even had a short-lived hashtag. It was a movement, actually. Remember it? Remember, Ariel?
I do. Proper coffee culture.
Proper coffee culture. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Noah, you mentioned very briefly that you're a rabbi, and we didn't get much more into that right now, but we did this past weekend when we dropped an episode on this feed that's an entire interview with you. So if you are interested, Tippendales, in learning more about Noah and in what he does for a living, please go and check out that episode. And also stick around because we're back tomorrow with another tip, me and Ned, that is. And then we're back next week, me, Noah, and Ned, with more tips from our guest tipper.
Yay.
Ned, Noah, it's May 21st. The year is 2025, and we are here. It's Wednesday, which means it's guest tip day on daily tips that may or may not help you. We've got Noah Westreich here to give us that tip. Noah, what is the tip of the day?
Our tip of the day is to name your dog, or any pet that you have for that matter, after a character from a musical. My dog name is Bobby, and he's named after the...
Bobby from Company?
Bobby from Company. You got
Let's
it.
go!
Ned.
Good job, Ned.
Let's go.
Bobby.
And Bobby, come on over for dinner. And it's just me, my husband, and the dog. And so it fits perfectly. We basically can just sing to him all the time using the lyrics and the plot of the musical Company, which happens to be one of my favorite musicals. So deep and so evergreen when it comes to relationships and how to get close with people and how to put yourself out there. And whether Bobby is successful in that or not is left for the viewer to decide. And when it comes to my dog, Bobby, I'm not so sure that he's so independent or knows how to put himself out there because he's a dog. When we come home after a long time out of the house, he's a puppy, so he still stays in his crate when we're out of the house. We come home, we walk up the stairs, and Noah and I, my husband's also named Noah, by the way. So yeah, we were gonna name our dog Noah, and that's when I came up with this tip.
That's also
and
a good
just,
bit.
Yeah.
You never forget.
Just fuck with people. Hi, I'm Noah. This is my husband, Noah. Oh, and your dog, what's his name? Noah. That's crazy. As if two.
This is surprises within surprises. Well, Tippendales, name your pet after somebody in musical theater. If you have an interesting name for your pet, we'd love to know what that name is. Throw it in the comments of this video and or this podcast, wherever it is that you're listening and watching. And we're back tomorrow, me and Ned, with another tip. And next week with the final tip from guest tipper Noah Westreich.
I believe we are about to see Ariel hoisted on her own petard. Ariel, would you please set up this tip?
Hoist me. Yes, happy to. Today, Noah Westreich is here. He is our guest tipper of the month. Unfortunately, this is his last guest tip. And Noah is actually going to give us an anti tip. And if you're a longtime follower of this show, you'll know that every once in a while we do an anti-tip. So something that you should not follow me in doing, and I've put a lot out there in this world, and today Noah is going to add to this story. So what is the anti tip of the day?
So yeah, I'm a longtime listener, and so I listen to your anti-tips, and I have to admit, this is one that I really groaned at and grumbled at. Ariel, if you recall, you had an anti-tip about loading or not loading, unloading or not unloading your dishwasher. Is that right?
Ugh,
Yes,
one
correct.
cup at a time.
You never properly unload it. It's just constantly in motion.
It's
Dirty,
Theseus's
there's
dishwasher.
clean. Mm-hmm. So my anti tip is to do your dishes. And there's a wonderful quote that I love from the author, writer, illustrator Myra Coleman, who wrote that washing dishes is the antidote to confusion. I know that for a fact. And this really resonates with me because when everything else is swirling and you have decisions to make and you have places to be, things to do, or relationships to uphold, you look at your sink and there's a bottom to the sink. There are dishes there. You can scrub them and clean them, dry them, put them away, get a household chore done, and honor the great Myra Coleman.
Wow.
Yeah. Ariel, did you have a change of heart while I was speaking?
I'm happy to be roasted for the sake of the Tippendales. And with that, we will say goodbye to Noah Westreich, who was our guest tipper of the month of May. Thank you for sharing tips with us. And we actually may have a bonus from you. So if you like Noah, stick around for more. Make sure you're following our show wherever it is that you listen to and watch podcasts.
Muchas gracias.
We have a bonus tip from guest tipper of the month, Noah Westreich. Noah, what is the bonus tip on this Saturday? I don't know when I'm going to release this.
Bonus tip will really help you remember your travels. Everywhere that I travel, I try to ride the mass transit, public transit, trains, buses, ferries. And one way that I remember is sort of like a audio scrapbook, let's say, of my time in different cities and places around the world. And so my bonus tip is to practice when you're home the recordings on the train that you hear. There's New York, where I once lived and where you two live. And so you guys will correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
That's pretty
That's
good.
perfect.
Yep.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
So in Barcelona, where they have two official languages, there's Castilian Spanish, Castellano, and Catalan. And both languages are used in their train announcements, despite the fact that the names of the stations are exactly the same. The word for next station in Spanish is próxima parada, and in Catalan it's propera parada. And so here's how it goes. Let's say the next station is Barcelona Sants Estación. Próxima parada, Barcelona Sants Estación. Propera parada, Barcelona Sants Estación. And then it's an audio scrapbook. It just came up with that term, but it helps you remember where you travel by remembering the tone and the tenor.
Make an audio scrapbook is a hell of a tip.
Hell of a bonus tip.
Yeah. What a great
Wow.
bonus tip. Thank you for finishing out the month with us.
You bet. Such a pleasure to be here.